literally the one more chance was Brie.
It was like the first time I really experienced like easy.
Aw. Hey, what's up, YouTube? My name is Amanda.
And I'm Brie.
And we are Pridefully Blended.
How we met, we both were on an app that I really wasn't fond of personally. And I kept telling my good girlfriend, like, listen, like, this is really, like, I'm not really feeling the people on this app. Like, I'm not really feeling the vibe. There were other apps that I liked, and I was like, I mean, I liked the conversations, but there was nothing consistent on those other apps. So I think it was like, it might have been like a day or two. I feel like it was like a day. I was like, you know what? I'm about to hop off this app. My friend was like, no, stay on the app, stay on the app. Like, just give it some time. Literally the next day, I'm like, I matched with Amanda and we just start talking and the conversation just flowed. I think what stood out to me the most was her transparency. Like, I didn't really have to like pull teeth when it came to conversation. Like, she was just open to share who she was, where she was in life. And I like the fact that she had kids and she had been with men. And that's kind of what I was looking for because I had a similar experience. Yeah, things just flowed. It was like easy. It was like the first time I really experienced like easy.
Aw. That's so cute. So I went on this app wanting to give this app another chance. I was telling my best friend all the time, you know, I'm on this app, I'm trying it out.
You want to talk about the app? You want me to talk about?
And then I ended up meeting this girl, talking to this girl on the app.
You want to talk about the app? You want me to talk about my part?
Talk about your part before you met me.
Okay. All right, y'all. So, what was life like before I met Amanda? It was just me and my son. Um, we had a 2 bedroom, 2 bath condo. I was working, trying to date different people. It was tough, you know, finding someone that really aligned with. Um, it didn't even have to be an alignment, but just willing to be, just a willingness to be flexible in regards to dating, the dynamic, and just who I was as a person, who I am as a person. So yeah, it was, I had been in situationships and relationships, but none of those things really lasted, obviously. So just due to being on different pages. One of my therapists told me that I was trying to fit. A lot of time in my dynamics, I was trying to fit like a square into a triangle or something like that, or a square into a circle. So yeah, I learned it was a lot of trial and error.
So I get on this app and I'm like scrolling, I'm looking, I don't know, again, I don't know what I'm looking for. And so I see, her picture. I'm like, okay, she kind of cute. It's different though for me. So I'm like, okay, I'm like, swiping. And my profile had a lot of like, it basically talked about, just me being a mom, me being a single mom, having 3 kids, just how I felt and about like life, describing me, all of that stuff. So Bree jumped into my message and she asked me a question in regards to like motherhood. And I forgot what the question was. I don't remember what the question was. But
I think I asked how has being a single mom and dating been?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, it's hard. It's definitely a struggle because even before Bree, I had talked to other women and it just was not, most of them wanted me to be more available than I was. And I'm like, I have 3 kids. Like, my kids take most of my time. Even me dating outside, it was a struggle. I didn't like really date as much because I'm like, I'm a mom. I think once I became a mom, it was just like, this is what it is. I have to completely change who I am. I don't have the availability anymore. So, she talked about that, and I was just like, the conversation just flowed after that. And I respected that she came into my message versus all the other girls were saying, oh, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, X, Y, and Z. She came in regards to how motherhood and dating has been for me, and that connected the dots for me. And then the conversation just flowed, and we just talked and talked and talked, and our message made it out, the group chat. I mean, the chat. And then we started, talking, texting, and ended up, talking on the phone. And
Which she wasn't a talker on the. She ain't like to talk on the phone. Right?
no, I wasn't no, because I had a very immature mindset. I'm like, why am I talking to you when I can text? Like, we can text, it's okay. I don't need to hear your voice, which is crazy to say, but that's how I felt. So I'm like, we can text. Like, I can text you, and then if I don't want to be bothered, I can just, just ghost you or block you or whatever, and that's it. And we can move on with our life. Like, why do I have to hear your voice? So she felt some type of way about that at first, because she's like, no, I want to talk. And I'm like, I'm not a talker. I'm a texter. Like, we can text, and that's okay with me. So I remember you said something. You were like frustrated at one point about the whole like us not talking thing, and like how you felt like it was like really important to you. And I was just like, okay, fine. She wants to talk. Let me just talk. But I did respect the fact that, she was like, even after us moving forward and, us getting out of the app, the chat on the app and talking via text, I respected her like sending voice notes and stuff like that, because it felt like, oh, okay, I can hear her voice. Which when I first heard her voice, I was just like, oh, she sounds very proper. It was very different. Cause like the women that I was around, they're very hood, very like, the it's different. Versus she's like, from Montgomery County. So she talked very proper. My little proper baby. She was very like proper. And I was like, I don't know what to take of her voice. I could not, I'm like, it's something about it that I just can't really get with. But I had to like step outside of that, because I'm like, but I love the conversation and it's flowing, and like we like there weren't any days that went by that we didn't talk to each other and text each other. Like, it just flowed from the app all the way to the text messages, to the phone calls, to the voice notes. Like, everything flowed, and I'm like, this feels really good. And it was different for me because, again, I'm used to, let me see what this person's about, talking to somebody maybe for a week, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't get with it. And I stop.
Yeah.
And I move on. So, the longevity of us, like, actually, I'm not a consistent person when it comes to like people and talking to people, as far as like people that, and maybe I didn't really like these people. Maybe there was something to do, to pass the time. I don't know. But I think with her, it was just different. And I just respected the fact that she was a mom. I respected the fact that she was a single mom, and she, loved and took care of her son, and how she was with her son. And I felt like I can relate. I didn't have to, like, go in the other room necessarily when the kids were like loud and making noise and stuff, because she has a son too. And she knows, now she didn't have as many kids as me. So it was different. The noise factor was definitely different in my house versus her house. It's two different types of noise.
Overstimulated.
She was definitely my little overstimulated baby. She was definitely overstimulated. But we moved past that, and I think it just felt like, oh, this is like natural. I can talk to you, in the midst of like me being a mom and making dinner, and our like, bedtime routines and all that stuff. Because like before, I think with other people, it's kind of like I had to like separate that, because I guess everybody doesn't understand, being a mom and still trying to mother and still trying to, the balance of trying to do all that. Plus, I'm also talking to somebody that I really like, and I'm trying to like do everything at one time. And normally my routine consists of just kids after school, and, bedtime and dinner and all of that stuff. So it was different, but it felt so good because I was able to like bring that together. And even when like we started, like when her son, which is like when I call him my son now, when he used to come over, when he came over for the first time, and we kind of like joined like together, it felt good. Like it didn't feel, weird or awkward or anything. Like it felt like so this is something that I can see for myself, like us eventually blending households together. I think for me, it was a honeymoon stage that lasted up until she asked me to be her girlfriend, which is still extended past that. I'm not saying that it stopped, but I think just getting to know her, I really enjoyed getting to know her during that time. Us like combining, doing stuff. Like there will be times when she would like eat dinner at my house, like her and Mason, which is our son. And then we would eat dinner at her house, me and the kids, like, and I enjoyed that because it felt like I can still be me. I can still get to know you as a woman, as a mother, but I can still be a mother too. And I can include, this part of my life, which is the priority for me. I can include that and we can blend that together and we can enjoy each other with, us both being parents. And we can feed off each other's energy, and the kids, they can feed off each other's energy, and it just felt right. It felt really good. It felt like, okay, I'm no longer by myself. It's no longer just me. Now I have somebody, that, we can think about, oh, what are you doing for dinner? And kind of like throw ideas off of each other, combine it. Like I said, we would do dinners at her house, dinners at my house. We did sleepovers where, she would spend the night eventually, and, we would spend the night at her house. And it felt really good because I think as a woman, you understand how it feels to be a mom. And when you have two moms that we both prioritize our kids individually, it just works. Where when we come together, the priority is still the kids, but we're also learning to prioritize each other and then prioritize everybody as a whole. Mm-hmm. So it was really nice. And I enjoyed that part. It definitely was a challenge, though. It was not easy. Mm-hmm. But I can say that even with it being a challenge, there were so many like lessons and things that I learned about myself, just her, just the kids in general, just, how we were so different as parents. Mm-hmm. And, just how, we would, like, I would learn things from her. She would learn things from me. Mm-hmm. Me and my children's lifestyle was definitely different. She had structure. I didn't have structure. So when I say me not having structure, the kids had bedtimes, obviously, but it was more so like, the kids stay up, pretty much all night on the weekends. And, I was okay with that. Electronics all the time. There was no set time for homework. We would figure it out when we figured it out. It was just, I call it my like chaotic life. And she had more so a structured, what would you say?
I mean, just routines.
Routine.
Yeah, just tried to have a routine in place and definitely had bedtimes. Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely completely different life. It's really a whole nother segment that we'll touch on in regards to what life looked like once we actually got together, because it came with a lot of, it was a roller coaster.
Definitely
for sure.
Was a roller coaster.
Definitely an emotional roller coaster. So, but we got through it and we're here. And
I didn't think we would get through it, honestly.
Yeah. I had to definitely keep her like, I'm like, listen, we got this.
She was confident. I was like, I'm ready for her to leave at any given moment because my kids, they're not used to seeing me with anybody, let alone a woman. And that's a whole nother story in regards to like, me coming out to them, which I did during this time frame.
Definitely came out, dropped a bomb.
Yes, which I do. I'm the type of person, I'm like, I don't know how to walk people into stuff. I'm like, boom, there it is.
Random,
sporadic, very spontaneous. This is what it is. Boom, drop the bomb.
That's it.
that's it. And you feel how you feel about it. But, you know, I don't know how to do anything else.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share. And comment.
Leave
Yes, please
comments
leave
of,
any questions that you have for us.
mhm.
We love Q&As. We love answering questions. Yeah, just share your thoughts. Give us feedback. We're here for it all. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So our next video is going to be how I came out to my kids after our first date.